You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife, a mental disgrace. Tudor. The Daily Mail, through Jamie McBride, states, Harry and this one's wife have been in New York for mental health, yet their personal attacks on the royal family are not about William and Kate's mental well-being. Harry and this one's wife's disgraceful treatment of William and Kate undermines their high-profile commitment to promoting mental health, says Richard Eden. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex recently appeared in New York to warn of the dangers posed by social media. But in a trenchant newsletter for Palace Confidential, Eden suggests that the Duke of Sussex and this one's wife have done little to support the mental well-being of his brother William, the Prince of Wales, or his wife Catherine. Pausing there, this, of course, is no surprise whatsoever, and has occurred for a multiplicity of reasons. Naturally, governing the behaviour of this one's wife, as always when it comes to the interaction with other people, is the presence of the prime aims. Her narcissism has 4 protocols, 4 diktats that it has to comply with. It must always ensure that there is control, must always ensure that there is a nullification of threats to control and the maintenance of control. In many instances, what it must do is seek out character traits, seek out fuel, and also seek out those residual benefits. Those 4 strands power, if you will, her interactions. You may recall from the film RoboCop that RoboCop had prime directives. It's pretty similar to that. This is what governs the behaviour of this one's wife. And in so doing, that means that she will talk about things as if she cares, but actually we know that she doesn't, because she's devoid of emotional empathy. And in the circumstances, what you end up with is an individual who will talk about how she cares about the issue of mental health, which demonstrates that she doesn't, naturally exhibiting the hypocrisy of the narcissist that you've come to know only too well through the behaviour of this one's wife. Furthermore, she will talk about her children, for example, or that nothing matters more to her than being a mother, and then rather clears off being for a few days. This is because she compartmentalises her behaviour. She doesn't have conscience, which causes her for a freebie on a Caribbean island. I'm not going to take it because my kids come first. Somebody with emotional empathy and a conscience would behave that way, and moreover, it isn't the case. She thinks, well, I've just said very much about nothing important to me than being a mother, therefore I better live it, hadn't I? In effect, a cognitive awareness of how she should behave. Often she doesn't even do that. Instead, it's simply, oh yes, being a mother is very important to me. What's that? A chance to go to a Caribbean island and not see my kids? I'm on my way. And she truly, because her narcissism doesn't let her, she is devoid of the tools in terms of a conscience, in terms of a moral compass, in terms of emotional empathy, that would cause her to think to herself, I shouldn't do it, or even not even have to think about it. It just comes instinctively, like it does for those with emotional empathy. Similarly, when it comes to the situation of the Princess of Wales, it's absolutely fine for her to talk about how mental health is so important in order to make her look good, and then, in the next breath, do something which demonstrates that she has a flagrant disregard for the mental health of William and Kate. For instance, she has nothing to do with further, not that they are particularly concerned about that, they'd be rather pleased that that's the case. But the attacks that she has launched directly against, and of course by puppeteering Harry, has been done without any due regard for the impact that it would have upon the Princess and Princess of Wales, other than the issue, subconscious of control fuel. Further, condemn the behaviour of the Sugars, of the Sussex Squad, when they launched a vitriolic attack against the Prince and Princess of Wales. You don't. Oh, she talks about how we need to do so much on social media to make it safe for children, that the comments that are issued towards people that are downright disgraceful, it ought to be policed better by the social media company. And of course, she bleats repeatedly about how she is attacked by haters and racists. But of course, she won't do anything to condemn the behaviour of her supporters, because once again, she's a hypocrite. The fact is that she allows that to happen because it's supportive of her, and again, absent emotional empathy, absent a conscience. She doesn't see a problem with that. Thus, she engages in preaching about the necessity of good mental health and supporting people, and then goes and engages in behaviour which causes a problem in relation to it. The article continues by explaining the Waleses have had to put up with the most disgraceful personal criticism from Harry and this one's wife on television and in Harry's book, while being unable to answer back publicly, writes the Daily Mail's diary editor. He also takes online fans of Harry and this one's wife to task for alleging, without foundation, that William and Catherine had somehow failed to support this one's wife when she was experiencing difficulties of her own as a member of the royal family. It is a far cry from 2016, when Prince William, Prince Harry and Catherine were united as they launched their Heads Together campaign to raise awareness of mental illness and associated problems. They dissolved into laughter together as they showed off the blue headbands that runners would wear during the London Marathon in support of their new venture. It was the royal trio's biggest joint project for their charity, the Royal Foundation, and the light-hearted launch event was typical of the fun they always seemed to have as they worked together for good causes. You will, of course, note that there was somebody absent from all of that. The spider. This one's wife hadn't crawled into the scene, and therefore the three of them got on very well. There was nobody there that needed to control them, that needed to control Harry particularly, and thus in so doing needed to drive a wedge between Harry and a sister-in-law that he almost had a crush upon, and a brother who he was very close to. And then look at the relationship between the three now. They don't even speak to one another. How so? The appearance of this one's wife. Another commentator has identified the hypocrisy of this one's wife in relation to how she behaves. Another commentator sees how this one's wife talks about one thing and behaves in a completely opposite way. If the commentator understood that she was a narcissist, none of this would come as a surprise, because the narcissist regularly engages in this form of hypocrisy, because the narcissism allows the behaviour, because there is no break upon it in terms of through, for instance, a form of a conscience or emotional empathy. And once again, by understanding narcissism, it enables you to have a much better handle on the behaviours of this one's wife. I still see in various comment sections the bewilderment that people exhibit in relation to why she behaves as she does. And those individuals just need to understand she is a narcissist, and by embracing knowledge about narcissism, their confusion will melt away as they will start to understand why she behaves as she does, why she can't see and accept that she's vastly unpopular, why she's completely incapable of seeing that she is a hypocrite, that she can't see that she plays the victim card repeatedly, that she can't see that she looks awful in much of the clothing that she wears. All of those factors, the bewilderment that's expressed by many people in relation to those subjects that I've just touched upon, is all readily explained by her narcissism. And the mental disgrace that she engages in, preaching about good mental health while destroying that of her husband and having no regard for the impact that it has in relation to the Prince and Princess of Wales, is once again demonstrative of the hypocrisy of the narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.